We are the foundation, bulletproof the hating from the plantation. We built the whole nation. We are the foundation, bulletproof the hating from the plantation. We built the whole nation. We are the foundation, bulletproof the hating from the plantation. We built the whole nation. We are the foundation, bulletproof the hating from the plantation. We built the whole nation.
So the prince of scam Africanism, DR.UMAR Johnson, is in full panic mode, referring to the ADOS FBA Lineage as a Negro tribalism group. He's seeing more and more foundational black Americans delineating, and now he's trying to use that little degree in psychology he has to use psychology on us, and it ain't working. This video is fair use, and of course, roll that scam African footage.
There's two reasons why the U.S. government is going back to calling us Black Americans as opposed to African Americans. Number one, they want to disconnect us from our African birthright because they fear the rise of a global Pan-African revolution. Let me say it again. Let me say it again. One of the reasons the government is going back to calling us Black Americans as opposed to African Americans is they fear the rise of a global Pan-African revolution. We've been African Americans since the 1980s. All of a sudden, you go back to calling us Black Americans because you want to de-emphasize the growing African consciousness amongst the American African. So that's one thing I'm noticing right off the top. Let's stop using the word Africa. Let's stop using the word Africa. Let's stop using the word Africa. So that's one thing I'm noticing right off the top. Another reason they stopped using the word Africa is not only to minimize the growing Pan-African movement, not only to try to undercut the growing Pan-African consciousness that's sweeping the world, in no small part due to the works of the Prince of Pan-Africanism, their fear of a Pan-African revolution, but also because of the Negro tribalism groups. The Negro tribalism groups such as ADOS that is popularizing an anti-African political agenda. So they want to cater to that because that actually plays into the hands of white supremacy.
Now my channel Raw Foundational family, you're the smartest audience on YouTube. You see how this dude is trying to use his little psychology degree on us? He's seeing that more and more foundational black Americans are delineating, and he's trying to use his little psychology to make us think that it's the Pan-Africanism ideology that's growing when it's not. It's actually shrinking. The FBA lineage is growing more and more as we wake up to our own lineage. That psychology ain't gonna work, DR.UMAR. And there's only one reason they're going back to Black American as opposed to African American. Because we requested it on the U.S. Census. That's our doing, not the government's doing. We requested not to be put in the same category as people from the continent of Africa who move to the United States and become American citizens, even if they're white like Elon Musk. Because all of them can refer to themselves as African Americans. Not because they fear the rise of a quote-unquote global African revolution. Sir, there is no global African revolution. What are you talking about? Where? On what country, what continent, what state, what city? It don't exist. You said we've been African American since the 1980s. Yeah, that's because of that Democratic coon, Jesse Jackson. But we're over getting the wool pulled over our eyes by the Democrats. Them days is over, DR.UMAR. There is no growing African consciousness amongst the Black American. There is a growing foundational Black American consciousness growing amongst Black Americans. We have no cultural or physical connection to the continent of Africa. These Pan-Africanists are delusional. There is literally nothing Africa or African about foundational Black American culture. Nothing. Talking about Pan-Africanism is sweeping the world due to the works of the Prince of Pan. Nigga! When is that school coming, Dr. Umar? Your scam is no longer working and you're in panic mode. Cut the BS, Dr. Umar. And you had the nerve to call our lineage, our ADOS FBA lineage, a Negro tribalism group. You know, for someone who refers to himself as the Prince of Pan-Africanism, how do you not know that the biggest Negroid tribalism groups have always been on the continent of Africa? That's what a tribalism is, you idiot! Black Americans was the only ones that was Pan-Africanists. That's the problem. Caribbeans was a Pan-Africanist, and the Africans have never been Pan-Africanists, ever! Every time I get into a debate with a Pan-Africanist, I shut them down with one question. I say, prove to me, at any time in human history, that all Black people on Earth or in the continent of Africa were united as one. And I make it easy on them. I give them any category to prove that all Black people are the same. I say, you could use genetics. Oops, that's not gonna work, because we got different genetics from each other. I say, you could use phenotypes. Oops, that's not gonna work. Different phenotypes. I say, you could use language. Oops, that's not gonna work. Different languages. I said, you could use spiritual systems. Oops, that's not gonna work. Different spiritual systems. And these Pan-Africanists get mad because they can't prove that all Black people are one or the same. Dr. Umar, when in the history of niggas have all Black people on Earth been one big tribe? When? The majority of the Black people on Earth have always delineated from each other. Now that the foundational Black Americans are doing it, it's a problem. Because all y'all benefit off of us and ride our coattails. So now it's a problem. Dr. Umar, you're so much of an expert on Africa. We all the same, right? Then why have the Ethiopians and Eritreans have been committing constant genocide against each other for decades? Wait, we all Black, right? I know somebody from Eritrea. I know for a fact Eritreans and Ethiopians cannot stand each other. They don't see Black cousin. They see nationality. Talking about FBA's popularizing an anti-African ideology. How is foundational Black Americans preserving our culture and history and being part of our lineage, promoting an anti-African ideology, Dr. Umar? So we're supposed to disregard this legendary history and culture that we built from scratch because the African soldiers of slavery, the same Africans you be worshipping, that we built from scratch on United States soil for the past 500 years, and we was doing a dashiki and a kufi and walk around and pretend we African? Even though our culture's not African and we don't speak any African languages? We're supposed to disregard this legendary culture that we built, that is emulated all over the world, and run around talking about we African. Are you serious? These niggas don't make up a fantasy in their own minds that everybody with some color in their skin and Negroid features is the same. They actually believe that. And then, when you ask them to prove it, all you hear is crickets! That's why I love foundational black Americans. We're the only ones that come with receipts and not personal opinions. We're the only ones that see reality and don't make up a little fantasy in our head and run with it. Like these Pan-Africanists. That's why we got these idiot tethers on Twitter to about FBA only exists online. No, dummy. FBA has existed for the past 500 years. The same people who built America, gave it its wealth and all of its culture, the same culture your tethers be copying. Your tethers listen to this right now, dressed like a black American, using black American slang right now as we speak. Playing rap music that black Americans created. Yeah, all that. Get mad, nigga. Foundational family, let me know what you'll think in the comments. We almost back to 1,000 subs. We're gonna get this popping. I'm gonna start going live. The Channel Raw TV really gonna get live. Channel Raw TV. And we just gave it to these Pan-Africanists, idiots, raw. Wine.
Don't forget to subscribe. Channel Raw TV, baby.